Okay, it looks like it is supposed to be recording. I think we are recording. It says so. All right, I'll see that. I think we are. So, all right, Jennifer, the amazing Jennifer Combs. She's been a Mary Kate for just over a year, and we are so proud of her. She is our featured guest speaker artist, makeup artist extraordinaire for our hashtag Shake Up Makeup Monday, and she is going to be producing a fabulous look in her Masterclass Monday. So take it away, Jennifer.
Thank you. I am going to be doing foundation and what I would do if I were going out for an afternoon or an evening with my husband or something fancy or special. But before I do that, I always start with my Time Wise set. I use Volume Firm. Always start with a clean face, moisturized, ready to go. So I did that about 20 minutes ago. So I'm ready to go for the meeting. Then what I do is I would start with, and I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's actually the primer. So it's the foundation primer. It's got the SPF 15 in it. So it's great for you, the kids, anybody you want. And I use the SPF 30 daytime moisturizer. So it's just doubling up, but doesn't hurt to have a little extra, especially in Arizona where you don't have a lot of filters. So I'm just going to do half my face to see if we can see the difference with the redness that I have. So let me put the primer on. This is a little different doing it on Zoom, ladies, just so you know. Okay, so there's that. And then what I would do if I were doing this in the bathroom and getting ready, I'm not going to do it because I want to give it time to dry, but I do use the finishing spray. And I took this trick from Michelle, and I would spray it on my face after the primer, after my CC, and after my foundation, just so that it kind of sets every layer as I go. But for the sake of the meeting and stuff, I'll spray the last one. Okay, so, oh, and I also use the under eye corrector when I do my foundation. So I'm just going to put a little bit on here. And then grab my little sponge. I am old school and I use sponges. I know a lot of people have gone into brushes and just different things, but I use sponges still just to dab it in a little bit.
I think that's great. So a lot of people like the feel of sponges. So I think that's a good thing. We have a blending sponge for Mary Kay too, and I like it as well.
And that would be this one.
I love that. Yeah, it's so big when you get it wet, it like expands to this huge thing.
I just have different ones for the different stuff that I'm using just so that I can not mix all my colors and stuff.
Gotcha. Smart plan.
I try. Once in a while it comes to life. And then the next thing I'm going to do is the CC cream. So that's the next step. And then I'm just going to kind of put it a little bit everywhere, and then I'm going to mix it in.
I love it. I'm so glad you're doing half the face because that totally will see a huge difference in there.
Well, and that's what I was thinking. And actually, Michelle, you're the one that gave me the idea. You've done half your face in different things. We just haven't recorded it.
Ah, true.
You were my inspiration on that one. Give credit where credit is due, ladies.
So funny.
Okay, I'm going to blend it into my hair because I don't want not to have that. And then I always blend a little bit down kind of under my chin. I don't, and you know, you don't want the mask effect. I've seen it all too often. It's no bueno. And then again, I would use the finishing spray again, let that dry. And then I'm going to put on, and tonight, I hate to admit it, I'm using a sample. I'm using the Luminous. Oh, that's my puppy. My Luminous 3D foundation. I really like the matte, but the matte is the one that I don't have right now because it's a shade too light. So on my next order, I know what I need. I will be ordering me more foundation.
Right.
Right? It's, you know, I don't use foundation a lot, so it didn't even dawn on me that I've been in the sun with all the sports activities with my kiddos. So, you know, we got to do what we got to do. Okay. Shush the dog.
What I got to know, I have to ask, so this is interesting to me. Maybe y'all noticed it too. She's got the primer on first, which of course makes everything adhere, and it also corrects redness. she put a layer of CC cream on, which does a very good job with hydrating, SPF. It also has that light, smooth coverage, but yet she's also applying one of our fuller coverage foundations. And
Right.
you know what color that the sample is? It looks good. What is that color?
This is actually the Ivory 140.
Okay.
And I tried yesterday when I sent the picture to Michelle, it was Ivory 130. So it was just one color up, because I tried 150 and 140 earlier to see which one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do the layers because of that redness. I have issues with that. It's not, and then I usually kind of just cover my eye too. It just gives me a little bit more confidence sometimes not to have all that redness. So
absolutely. And some people have rosacea, which is a different skin condition. And so this is really good for us to know, because when we have customers that have rosacea and maybe they have to use a dermatologist's skincare, or maybe they're using Mary Kay skincare, but they need to know other things to put on their skin, but they don't want a cakey look. So this is really good. Thank you.
And then here's my finishing spray, and you do it in the X across your face. Give it some time to set. I will say with the finishing spray, I found out one thing by experimenting. Do it with your eyeshadow, but do it prior to the mascara. I did it with my mascara and the mascara ran. I was like, oh, party foul, got to start over.
That's hilarious.
So there you go. So that's that side. And then there's this side.
Wow.
So you should see that this side is it has that redder tint to it than this side. It mutes it for me.
Mm-hmm. I think that's amazing. And I really love, and so typically do you typically use the matte foundation rather than the luminous? Is that your preference?
That is my preference. I tried both, and for some reason I just like the look of the matte better for me. The luminous is good and it absorbs well. I like it. It's just, I don't know, it's just a little bit texture difference or something for me on my skin.
Well, absolutely. And for anybody who's like wondering about that, I just had a customer today, actually, that she was really, has very dry skin. And so she was asking me, hey, I need something with more coverage, but I don't want it looking cakey. And so we debated the different foundations, just like you talked about. And she decided she needed more coverage than CC cream, which is your first layer that you put. And then she was wanting, I showed her that I was wearing the matte foundation. That's what I had on. And then she wanted a little more of a luminous look with more hydration because her skin is so dry. So we got the color matched with the matte, and then we tried the luminous wear, and she was so happy. It was just perfect. So I think that's great. We have different options for different people.
And we do. And I know a lot of people too that would have done one more layer even, and they would have used a powder on top. So, I mean, there's more stuff we can do on top of what I just did. I haven't played with the powder to see what the difference would be. But since my redness has gotten more defined, I've gotten away from like the mineral powders and stuff and gone to something a little bit more coverage.
Gotcha. And you're right. I think that today my customer wanted a little more coverage on the top of the foundation. She wanted it to look more finished. If you use the air quotes, that's what she wanted. But, she didn't want the feeling of something that looked dry because her skin was so dry. And so I used the translucent powder because it has a more luminous quality, but it still made her look finished. And I put it on one side and not the other, and she liked it. So kind of like you did, we got one side, not the other. So I love it. I think that's phenomenal. But tip, if anybody has a customer or a friend that's got more, maybe needs more matte coverage, the matte foundation, and then they could always use like the pressed powder, or they could use the new finishing powder that we have in different colors. So does anybody have any questions for the fabulous Jennifer? And if not, I'll share the screen on some things, but anybody have questions or comments?
I do have a question. I noticed, and thank you for sharing the tips and the pros and cons. When you apply the CC cream or the cream before the foundation, do you feel like it lasts the same amount of time, or it doesn't really affect?
I don't think it affects it. It's just more adding that extra layer to take that color away, is what I see it do more so than extending it.
You normally use that sponge to apply it, not the brush?
I do. So we'll have to have Myra demonstrate.
No, that's what I'm saying, because with the CC cream, I normally don't use anything but my hands because it's so easy and it's really moisturized. And I feel like it really just moisturizes my skin. But
Gotcha.
when I do the normal foundation, for some reason, I like to have the brush, the Mary Kay brush. But
Right.
I noticed how easily it just went from up and down, and you had it done in seconds. So I wonder if I need to practice that with a sponge.
Well, it's all about time and efficiency. It's, we're all
Yes.
busy running. So,
Yeah. Okay, I have to give it a try, but thanks. I really like the look though. I really do.
well, thank you.
I
Anything else?
looks great.
Thank
I
you.
love it. Yeah. And I was going to say, I really appreciate, Jennifer, that you shared about the redness coverage, because that is something that the CC cream does have, one of those effects for people who want a more sheer look. It does have that benefit. It's almost like a concealer. And so it has that, that idea of a concealer and a moisturizer and an SPF and a foundation kind of all in one product, which is kind of the neat thing about it. And I was just reading in the chat, Lisa said she uses a damp sponge to dab the CC cream in more evenly. If she uses her fingers, she has a tendency to streak. So that's a good point. That's a really good point, Lisa. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yay. Well, I'm going to share this screen. If anybody else doesn't have any questions, does anybody have anything else that they had a thought or a question about? Okay, let me see if I can screen share. Give me 1 second. We're going to try to do this and see if it does what I'm asking it to do. Okay, so here's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make this picture get larger, because you can see I have it all in a folder. So I'm trying to make it bigger, and it takes a little while apparently. So that's Zoom, right? So one reason I wanted to share one of these pictures is because it has some of the products that you use tonight, Jennifer, as well as some other products that people can learn about. And then I have another little special deal on there as well. And I thought, since we're talking color, and that type of thing, I thought this was a good one to look at. So this particular set, it doesn't show the CC cream as a choice, but that could work. You could use that instead of the liquid foundation that they showed here. And again, there's other styles of foundation, but tonight, this shows multiple sets. There's an ultimate, a complete, an essential, and then it shows a lot of different tools on the bottom of the page. So I hope you guys can see that screen. And what I think is pretty great about this is that, if you're really more into just what she was mentioning, like the flawless face, that would be like your primer and foundation. And then she even used the under eye corrector. You could always add a CC cream in here. Those are like 20 or 22, I think. They have the spray she mentioned right in the start to finish set, along with that translucent powder. But of course, you can see that Mary Kay has a lot of other options. It even has like the tools, it mentions the brushes, and also that sponge, the blending sponge that you showed us, Jennifer. So it shows that in that little kit. So anyway, go ahead.
Below that, it's actually showing you, and I brought it out and I forgot to mention it, the brush cleaner and stuff. For those of you brushes, the brush cleaner is really neat to use as well.
Thank you. You're right. And that is phenomenal. This, I love this. It's called the more must-haves, because it has a brush cleaner, the micellar water, and then the finishing spray. And so those all have different particular uses. And I would personally say we all need to buy 2 things for Mary Kay. Just 2 things, y'all. Everything you see, because the tools are all so effective, and I loved how Jennifer mentioned that she feels more confident because of the coverage. And I think that, it might seem like a silly little thing, like, oh, makeup, but it really does help you feel better about yourself. And I was working with a young lady who had a lot of breakouts, and we helped get that under control with the skincare, but then she had a foundation that looked good. And she just felt so great about herself, and she had to do a presentation. So it really helped like a teenager. And, that's really important. So I think that all of this matters. So you can see on this little set, it has the different, like it'll say 4 sets, 3 sets, 2 sets, all are 1 set, and then it has some things added. The reason it says that is because I have another little discount option that I'm going to try to click through. We'll see. We'll see if I get there, because we have so many other options here. Oh, well, before we go there, you'll see we have plenty of choices. This is a little advertisement for how you could actually start your own Mary Kay business. And we always tell people, we never thought we'd be doing this either. None of us jumped out of the womb thinking, I'm going to be a Mary Kay girl and drive a pink car and all that. Like, that is not how we started. But, for $30, it's worth giving it a shot. That's like cheaper than having the Starbucks and dinner. So, get your products at half price. They extended this offer through the end of June. And most of us who are on screen have actually taken advantage of that. So I think that's a pretty awesome option. As I click through this is what I was looking for. This is the one that shows the product deals. And so this is something our consultants can share with you, and we'll post it later. But it does show ways that you can get a deal. If you're like, I really like those options, it shows that you can get some discounting done. And so you can see that the more you get, the more discounts you get. And I'm always like, you need two things at all. So get a lot because it's cheaper. If you eventually you want it all, eventually getting it will cost more. So get it at one fell swoop, and that'll help you out. I'm going to click on the scavenger hunt just because what you may want to do is think of any other girls in your world that we could actually like show our business to or show our products to. What we love to do on these Monday nights is to share color products, but on Tuesdays we talk about some of the new products in a real fast format. And then on Saturdays we have Spa Saturday. And so we love to be able to share these with other friends. So you can think of people who fit into any of these categories. So y'all can look through and see. And these are people we could celebrate with having them pop on. We've got drawings that we do. So just so you know, those who watch back and are posting and commenting in our Facebook groups, and Stephanie, you didn't know, but just because you were on, you actually get in for $50 of free Mary Kay from me this month. So get excited. I'll get your feedback and you get entered for that. So these are other ways that you can help your beauty consultant by helping us find other women that we can share our products with and also help support with different skin issues that they might have. So I wanted to leave that on there really quick. And then we have all kinds. Oh, that's my before and after. We have so many things, y'all. Okay, I think I've got it all. Okay, let me stop that. All right, ladies, that's all that I have for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. But just a heads up for anybody who's watching back, be sure you comment on what your favorite thing was that you learned from Jennifer in our Facebook groups. And then that way we can follow up with you and get your feedback and get you registered with the $50 of free Mary Kay that I'm giving away. And everybody give Jennifer the biggest round of applause ever.
Good job.
Thank you.
Stupendous, Jennifer. I loved it. I thought you did so great. All right, let me
Thank
stop.
you.